of Psychoanalysis, and Barnard College, Columbia University in New York. Jacques-Alain Miller and Myra Janus being the directors of that journal, which is going to be published by University of Minnesota Press, which is a rather well-known editor. No, you don't say editor, publishing company. And the first issue is going to be titled out of the title of Tom Waits' song, "We Are All Mad Here." We are all mad here, and it's going to be dedicated to ordinary psychosis. I'm mentioning this journal because it's going to be titled Culture/Clinic, in order to articulate the two major fields which are diversely developed in France, for example, or in USA. The field of what is called cultural studies, which is very important and spread into gender studies, feminine studies, and more generally cultural studies, and the field of clinics, which is more or less, I know, a neologism in English, because you generally don't use clinic in that term, but it's something we want to introduce because we want to introduce it in the English language, because it's so necessary in order to develop the field of the subject. And therefore it's an intent to join in the same journal the question generally dealt by the cultural studies, and to associate the major question about the subject of psychoanalysis in a clinical point of view. That is to say, for example, we are going to have 4 or 5 sections in the journal. One of them is going to be dedicated to, how do we call that, analysis testimonies, like our testimonies, but other testimonies about some event occurring in one analysis. As the laws in the United States about privacy are very important, we have chosen the option that the one who is going to speak about his or her analysis is the analysant. Therefore, and not only is it interesting in a juridical point of view and useful, but it's very faithful to the orientation, the Lacanian orientation about who, except the analysant, can better speak about the result of his or her analysis. So we have, that is going to be in the main clinical part of the journal, which is new in the academic world, which is up to now never worked on, and some others sections which are less new in the cultural studies field. And the first issue is going to be, let's say, celebrated in Miami, in a congress that the WAP called for. We elected the title, and that will do link with what I'm going to say today. title is a reference, of course, what Lacan knew about woman. And therefore the feminist question of sexuality is going to be the main object of research in Miami, beginning of June, end of May of this year. But I think we will have a second event of C/C in the year, in the following year. We don't know yet. What about? But well, that's a way to introduce another English-speaking journal. The aim of it being to join the clinician with the academics, which is more or less what you are going to do, and more.